What's up, everyone? It's ParnellEX, and today we are doing a VOD review of a legend in the Warwick community that not everyone in the Warwick community knew about, but some certainly did. His name is xyllow. He is a Warwick jungle player on the EUS server, and he reached, I think, 1,000 LP this season, maybe even a little bit more. Last season, he was challenger in Warwick in EU. So he's an absolute beast, plays Warwick mainly in the jungle. And I wanted to do a VOD review of Mr. xyllow here because he posted just about a month ago in his Discord that he is going to retire playing League of Legends. And he said that he just, well, he might not completely quit the game, but he is kind of giving up on the grind. And he is interested in moving on into his next phase of life. Now, as for someone who's chronically addicted to this game, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, to be frank. The next phase of life. This is life, man. But hey, you know, respect to xyllow. He's doing his own thing. And I figure that this is going to be like one of the, you know, only few times that we can really like look at his gameplay. I guess I never really like looked at his gameplay enough, and I never studied his gameplay enough. So I think now is the time to really try to, you know, look through the last games that he played and see, you know, what his strategies are. What does he do that's special that allows him to climb so high up on the EUS server? Which, to be frank, like even though I got 1,000 LP, he got 1,000 LP. He did it on EUS, which I think is definitely an edge over NA. So we could safely say he is the best Warwick jungle player in the world. So it's a tough loss to the Warwick community, but we can still check out these VODs and see what he's doing. So we see right here, he's playing Warwick versus Viego, and he actually goes for the level 2 invade. Snags the blue, snags the Grom. That's something I like to do, but I will say I don't do it enough whenever I play jungle. I always play way too standard. And I honestly think invading and going for like a level 3 gank like this is just really, really strong on Warwick. So yeah, note to self, I need to do this a lot more. And it's a really good way of kind of it's one strength in the jungle that Warwick still has. He still has really good, like if you're able to get an early invade off like that, your disadvantages in the terms of clear speed aren't going to be as prominent, you know, because you've stolen camps from the enemy jungler, and you can oftentimes, you know, get a surprise gank to go in your favor. So we got another gank there. He's 2-0 early on in this match. So do note these matches. I think this game was played like a month or two ago, honestly. I think it was like 2 months ago, honestly, is what this game is from. Maybe even a little bit more. But you got to keep in mind, the game's hardly changed since then, so it doesn't really like affect anything. I guess maybe Zeri might have been more OP around that time, but the game's been the same, so it really shouldn't change too much. Now, I know xyllow was a fan of Lethal Tempo. He always told me he liked it. If you guys ever watched my stream, or, you know, if maybe you've heard one of my videos, I don't like Lethal Tempo. I really don't like it on Warwick, but it's whatever. You know, it's just I think it's just a personal thing that I have to kind of get used to. And I'm just not used to Lethal Tempo yet. Maybe I just need to grind it out for a week and figure it out. But he is a fan of Lethal Tempo, and the results speak for himself. So we're going to see how he utilizes it. With Lethal Tempo, he's going to have much stronger early game, like dueling power, skirmishing power, and just sustained damage in general. His ganks are going to be probably slightly weaker, at least in terms of burst power, but, you know, maybe he just ults first, stacks up the Lethal Tempo, and then is able to shred his opponents down. Another thing I actually need to mention here is that xyllow, he, so all of my, like, probably like the last like 4 or 5 jungle builds I come up with in my channel, like, oh, brand new build or whatever, honestly are just xyllow's builds. I've taken a few builds from him, and I've shown that actually on my YouTube channel a few times that was from him. But is this just Lethal Tempo? Oh my god, that is the Lethal Tempo right there. That man knows. That man is proving to me that Lethal Tempo is the way on Warwick. And yeah, that was pretty nice. Like normally you're not gonna be able to pull that off on Warwick with press the attack. The reason why I do like press the attack is I like upfront bursts, because I think with like something like lethal tempo you get kited a little bit more, but I guess you kind of get kited anyways, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So he goes to the gank. He notices that the enemy bot lane, well, he obviously killed someone, killed the enemy jungler, I mean. So perfect opportunity to grab the neutral objective, push his lead here a little bit, and he's going to go ahead and recall. So he's rushing towards the Warwick. So yeah, builds that I have taken from Xyllow, or that, you know, Xyllow showed me, and I just like copied. Sunfire. So I used to be a Sunfire hater. You guys, a lot of you guys know that I've been loving Sunfire the last year and a half. Both in the jungle, but also in top lane and even in mid lane. I love to go Sunfire and Warwick. I took that from Xyllow. He's the one that convinced me Sunfire is good. And incidentally, when I started like believing Sunfire, he kind of fell off of it. But I still think that Sunfire has a lot of advantages, and I thank Xyllow for showing me that build. Some other ones include the Kraken Slayer build. Yeah, that was his build. He was running Kraken Slayer. He was also one of the probably like the best jungle build at the moment in general, which is I think is what he's running this game, is going to be Bork and Turbo Chem Tank. That's his build. The lethality build, well, the lethality build's not actually technically his build. I'm in like a group message with a couple Warwick players. There's this one guy, super pumped. He does a lot of like theory crafting, and he theory crafted the lethal tempo build. Or sorry, the lethality build with Duskblade, Bork, and Phase Rush. And so he came up with that build. I didn't try it. I thought it looked troll, so I didn't try it yet. But then Xyllow started trying it. So he tried it. He was like the first to try it, and then he was telling me how broken it was. Or it wasn't really broken, but how fun it was, and it was actually good. And so I started running it. But I did start running it because of Xyllow, so he's definitely influenced me a ton over the last 2 years in terms of jungle builds. Now, that said, I'm not really mainly a jungler the past 2 years. I've been probably more laner. But I have been playing more jungle lately, so we're gonna see what ends up happening, especially with the durability patch. What actually goes down. So I haven't really been commentating like a ton on like his gameplay, but it's been pretty straightforward. You guys can see everything that's going on. Like I said, the main like thing to notice is the more aggressive invades, and he's like looking for some gank angles that are pretty interesting, and utilizing the lethal tempo with killing the Viego. But pretty standard stuff so far. So he's going to go for this Gromp. I imagine he's looking. Yes, he just pinged top. He saw Viego was up here as well, so I imagine he's looking to 2v2 this because he's got the lethal tempo. And that is the one advantage of lethal tempo is like, I mean, you probably still win this even if, well, Viego's not even there, but if Viego was there, you definitely win that with lethal tempo. You still probably wouldn't with press the attack, but lethal tempo makes it more guaranteed, especially when like the 2v2 becomes a little bit harder. Say the top laner is not a Zhonya, but it's like a, I don't know, like a Jax or something like that. Maybe the lethal tempo would be, will turn a losing fight to a winning fight, basically. So he kills the Zhonya there, snags the Herald. He's just playing smart. He's playing just smart jungle gameplay right now. Like there's nothing like too crazy right now he's going for. There's no this is really how I played a couple years ago when I was a jungle main. Like it's just kind of how you gotta play Warwick. You gotta just, I don't know, it's just standard jungling is really all I can say. You go for free kills, you take objectives, and then in between you farm. You don't try to over farm, you don't try to over gank, you just do a little bit of everything in between and just see how it goes. So he sees that this Viego's here. I think right there he was going to try to Q follow the ultimate if he did ult over. But Viego just kind of bent over and took it, as my priest told me. So he's gonna go mid lane here and drop the Herald, I think. Yep, he's gonna go ahead and grab it. So you want to get it down to 2.5 plates, or like 2 and like a third plates, and then the Herald's gonna one-shot it. He's gonna probably try to walk this in, try to get it to smash, try to smash the second turret. like I smash your girl. And then he's going to come back and recall. And like I said, I believe he's going for the Turbo Chem Tank this game. So the benefit of going Turbo Chem Tank with Warwick and also Lethal Tempo is it obviously gives you that stickiness. But there's also the upfront burst. So I will say with Lethal Tempo, I never really thought about that. Like you kind of make up for that lack of press the attack burst with Turbo Chem Tank. Of course, you do get that burst later on because you have to. It's like you don't get it until like 15 minutes in the game at least. But you'll get the upfront burst. You're gonna get the stickiness to be able to make a ton of use out of your Bork and your Lethal Tempo. Comes flying in this Viego. So his targeting is. I will say the one thing I've noticed when I've watched xyllow. His targeting is very interesting. He plays team fights very efficiently and consistently. He makes sure that he plays the numbers advantage, meaning that he's going to just make the easy pick to ensure that his team just gets the advantage. See, I play greedy. I wouldn't have ulted on the Viego there, I don't think. I probably actually would have ran at him, if anything, and then held my ult and tried to go for someone else. Or I might have just ulted one of the bot lane members, tried to kill them, and then, you know, chase the Viego later. So like I try to play for like the big play. And honestly, I feel like with Warwick this season, you really can't afford to do that, especially early on. That's probably honestly my problem here. I'm trying to play for the big play, but Warwick is kind of weak early on in the game. And you need to get a couple kills to really get going. So he's just ensuring that he gets those kills to get going instead of just trying to be greedy. Because you really don't need to be greedy in this champion. You just need to make sure that you're able to get that consistent lead. And then you're gonna have everything it takes to carry. You'll be strong in the mid game, strong skirmisher. With this build, he'll also be pretty tanky, so you can go for initiations with the Turbo Chem Tank plus the ultimate. And he's just gonna go ahead and just clear his camps right now. His ultimate is coming up. I'm wondering if he's gonna go invade this red potentially. Karma's mid. He shouldn't go in for the invade. He might have been thinking about it. I don't really know. So I think he just is going to go ahead and just take Raptors red. Actually, he might just go Raptors, and he might actually look bot lane because Veigar's down there, or even go mid lane. I think he's thinking mid. Yep. So this is something. He's going to go for the kill. He's going to go for the kill. He's not going to over farm it. If he sees an opportunity, he's going to try to make it work out, help his teammates out, put some pressure on the map. Because at the end of the day, if this gank doesn't work out, you can just go back and get his red after the fact. But you gotta try to like make use of this opportunity. So he knows he has like no tools to really stick on anyone, so he's just gonna snag that Gromp. And he's just gonna chill here, get the flank angle. Nice Q follow. Auto attacks twice. That gives you auto attack twice because Zed's not gonna like he's probably not expecting that. He's like, whoa. Works here. So you gotta like give him like a little bit of time to react to W, and that's when you want to use your Q to do the Q follow.
Shut down.
That's the timing I have on my Q follows. Sometimes I get greedy and I try to go for the third auto, but that's definitely like the best way to go about it. You just want to make sure that you get the little surprise at first, and then you want to, you know, try to play around the reaction time. Try to predict the reaction. And just think about like what they're thinking. Like think about when are they going to want to use their escape. In Zed's case, he's going to use his escape there right away because there's no advantage to staying in that fight the entire time. He's just going to try to W out when he sees that he's being attacked and has no help. So yeah, he's got his Turbo Chem Tank. He's got Merc Treads here. Yeah, Merc Treads are actually looking very, very fire here. I will say that I personally actually don't go Merc Treads a ton on Warwick, and I really should. But this is a game where I would go. It's just because nothing else stands out, and yeah, I think I go Ionian Boots too much, just because they're so cheap. So I love grabbing them, and Warwick does love CDR. But I think Merc Treads are very, very nice to get sometimes. So yeah, this guy xyllow is just he's just fed out of his mind right now, man. And he sees Zed, so he's not done. He's not finished. And you see, oh, he's going to utilize this bot lane blood trail to get on the Karma. You see that Veigar's like 2 HP. He's going to kill the Karma. Flashed away. He's still looking. Oh my god, this is so me. Thank you, Xyllow. Thank you for making me feel normal. And he's just so fed, he doesn't care. Yeah, see that right there. That was the play I'd make. That's the play I would make. I would be diving to the tier 3, greeting for a kill I completely don't need. Definitely a bad play on his part. Like, there's no reason to greed that much. He doesn't really get much of an advantage from killing the Veigar. And the potential downside's massive because he's getting over 1,000 gold. Luckily, went over to the Karma, so it's really no big deal. If it went over to Veigar, though, or like a Viego or something, it could have caused some problems. Who knows? But he's still very, very far ahead. Oh yeah, and this is something that Xyllow likes to do. He always likes the Zhonyas. He loves to go the Zhonyas. I'm not a fan, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan because I think the stats are just trash for Warwick. Like, Warwick's not like AP. The armor in Zhonyas is nice, but it's not like as good as, like, you know, other items. And I feel like just raw tankiness is just gonna be better a lot of times. I do think there's a lot of value in the active, but I think especially if you're gonna go a tankier Warwick build, I feel like, or at least if you're going to tank your Warwick build and you're ahead, I think the just raw tankiness is just going to be better. Like, I think like something like Frozen Heart or something could be better here for him, but he really loves the Zhonyas. And it really does, it allows you to make more plays. It just gives you a ton of playmaking. It is really what it comes down to. So you don't get as much raw tankiness, but you have more like ability to just go super deep and just kind of create some chaos, and then you're able to just go invulnerable for a couple seconds and escape, you know, safely or wait for your cooldowns. So it is nice in that sense. It's something I'll probably actually start trying more now, because I know he likes it, and I think there's a reason behind it. I just know that I've tried Zhonyas before, like around this time, and I'm like, it just doesn't feel good. But I also might just have been playing like not, you know, correctly. That's the thing. Some of these items just take getting used to is really all it comes down to. Like, lethal tempo takes a little getting used to. Zhonyas takes a little getting used to. I know actually he used to run. Well, not sure if he still did at the end of his run, but I know he liked running Ghost sometimes as well. In combination with the lethal tempo, because you press Ghost, you press lethal, you know, you have lethal tempo, and you just suddenly your problem with getting kited after auto text isn't really present. So I think that is definitely a viable option as well. But nothing's going on the map right now, and he's gonna grab wolves. Look at his blue here. So nothing's happening on the map. They got Baron coming up in a minute. Probably what they're going to look to play for. Dragon's up in 3 minutes, so that's not super relevant. And they're going to have the soul. So yeah, do note he was playing very heavily on the dragons. That's one of the obvious advantages that Warwick has, so just try to make use of that. Another thing that I just haven't been making use of lately, and that's just something you should make use of on Warwick, is just neutral objectives. He just flies. That's a turbo chem tank and the ultimate. He's just the fastest wolf I've ever seen. And he's got tons of upfront burst. The Boric plus turbo chem tank damage plus the little AP he gets from Zhonyas gives him an absolutely obscene amount of burst. And then he'll have his lethal tempo stacked up. And his DPS is just going to be ridiculous to follow suit. So honestly, this build actually is, like, I see the full potential here of this entire setup actually. Because, like, your burst is already great. You don't need press the attack in the mid-late game with this build for burst, because your burst is already great. So you want to have that DPS to follow up, and yeah, I definitely see the potential. So we'll see if we can try this next few days, actually, in solo queue, and see how I like it. see if he can convert me. Looks like an FF from the enemy team, so let me know if you want to see more Xylo VOD reviews in the future.